What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is the continuation, basically the underwater tour of Florida's newest artificial reef. As you recall, I posted the video of Sinking the Manta, which you guys have been amazing with sharing, subscribing, and following, so I can't thank you enough. I'm going to try to talk a little bit through this, and what you're going to find is that we passed one camera around. Sometimes it's a little jerky. The filming was just a continuous loop of all the different parts of this during our evaluation dive. Right here, this is that top deck of that vessel, on the seismic vessel. And you'll note that we are identifying that in this heavy current, we need to have a different time. We were going to go up at 1,200 versus 1,000 just to have a safety buffer. So again, I'm not going to fast forward through any of this or chop it and cut it. It's actually going to be just pretty much a continuous video. And I'll add little bits here and there. As always, you're more than welcome to comment, questions. I'm trying to answer as much as I can. Well, let's go. So what you're seeing here is, again, on the top, I think the depth for the top of this wreck was right about 65 feet there along the ground. This is probably the heaviest current I've ever dove in, and so you'll notice bubbles and swimming. It's almost like there's a breeze blowing down there. It was an incredibly strong current. We were right after a storm system, but it provided great calm seas on the surface for the deployment of this vessel. Right now we're moving across the top, headed towards the bridge. Coming up is the Christ of the Gulf statue, a great addition. There's artists in the area, and they take their art and it gets mounted to these wrecks and sent down to the bottom to be preserved in time. This is really awesome project that goes on for a lot of different folks, and the Director of Coastal Resources, Alex Fogg, which I'll point out here in a minute. If you have anybody that wants to art or anything like that, they need to reach out to him, and he usually coordinates all that sort of thing. There, that's Alex. Right here, I can say that the bow of the ship has a superstructure. And again, if you look at those bubbles, I'm telling you, it was breezy down there. We're waiting for the statue to free up because we want to take some few pictures while we're doing it. Plus, we needed to get a measurement on top of that superstructure to make sure that we had the required 55 feet of relief post-deployment. High five. Figured I'd go ahead and get a good old hug there. From here, we're going to move down towards the wheelhouse. One of the added benefits of doing these survey dives is you are able to do the initial walkthrough, or swim through, I should say. As we're going through, we're looking for any type of debris that may have dislodged or something like that, or pieces of metal that may have broken off during the scuttling of the ship that would pose a future threat to any divers. And so again, sorry for the shaky camera work, we're just trying to move through. As we're coming out here, this is where the cargo area used to be. As you can see, there's still some silt in the water, but right after this has probably only been sank for about 30 minutes. And there you can see the silt. It really is neat being able to go from the top at 65 feet of depth down through there. I believe it's anywhere between, I think it's around 90 feet through the hallways, working its way down. The bottom of the wreck sets at 114. For the divers on this, because this was more of a working dive in heavy current, we were diving just air, not nitrox or anything like that. And we were trying to limit our NDLs. And so we just were pushing through all different parts of the structure, dropping down. As you can see, I'd recommend a dive light for the internals. This was a pretty sunny day, so the light was limited on the inside. You do have the holes cut for the sea turtles. Awesome. Right there you go, 79 feet inside the hallway. That's about where the wheelhouse would sit. That's what's right in front of us there, so that's your depth marker for that. One thing we noticed as we were making our rounds, the tow line that was used to hold the vessel in place during the strong currents, the one pictured right there, was cut away, and it looked like it was going to cause a little bit of marine debris. So we were trying to tidy that up During this initial dive, there was a long free suspended piece that I'm going to tie off to the front of the ship right here. There was going to be a later dive, and so we would try to collect anything that needs to go to the surface. That way it doesn't pose a hazard or come loose during any type of storm event or anything like that. So these are all part of the processes that take place after you create a reef. As we travel around, coming back out the other side of the ship here, you'll look down. That is not oil or fluids or anything like that. What that is leftover silt escaping from the bilge as it was all vacuumed in during the sinking process. Going down to get a depth reading, that right there is where we opened the through holes and initially began to sink this vessel. If you saw my first video, I kind of go into what that was and how we brought this ship down from the stern to the bow, given the shape of the vessel. This reef was truly a joy to dive. Now, right back here, we did have an anchor holding the vessel in place, as well as the use of the tugboat. And fortunately, right behind, we now have the anchor laying on the sea floor. So for those that like to see that sort of thing, that's going to be just a neat little bonus item. What we're surveying here is, if you'll notice, during that clip, the vessel is longer than the water is deep, and it took a bounce right on this stern quarter. And we were just looking at the damage, making sure nothing, again, was going to pose a threat to any recreational divers. You can see the visibility and depth for this vessel is amazing. I hope you've enjoyed the tour around. Look forward to you in the future. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.